Hey guys, it's August 12th, 2018. It's kind of a hazy day here in Seattle. Yesterday was pretty chilly and it's warm again today. So here you see the raspberry, the leaves are kind of damaged. That's because I sprayed them with soap last week because there was some spider mites. As you can see right here, this leaf, there's some spots. And if you flip the leaf last week, you could see some little red dots. Those are spider mites. Yeah, you can kind of see the discoloration of some of the leaves. It's a little bit more yellow. But so far, it looks like the soap has solved the issue. The tomato, I think they've stopped flowering, and you can see just lots of tomatoes maturing now. The fruits are ripening, so I'm gonna harvest all of them. So yeah, this is what I got today. A lot of them, I think maybe 20 to 30 of the tomatoes. And as for the rhubarb, there's nothing too much to talk about. Leaves are pretty big, and I think it's still sending out some new leaves, like right there, and then right there you can see a new leaf coming up. And then the calla lily looks pretty much the same. And the hydrangea, you can see it's the new growth is coming up nicely. So the pruning worked. Some new growth from the base, which is exactly what I wanted. And obviously there's gonna be a lot of new growth on the old branches too. But I can deal with that later. Potatoes is definitely dying back. I can cut the dead stems away so it looks prettier. Strawberries, you can see I've started propagating them to the new pot, and these guys have been in the vermiculite for at least 2 weeks, so I think it's time to take them out and plant them in the new pot. But yeah, the strawberry, I think they're doing well, just lots of runners, but I don't see any flowers though. Yeah, the hydrangea looks the same, just lots of new growth. Blueberry. Oh, here, wait. What is this new growth? Oh, it's from, yeah, the original one. That's good. And yeah, the blueberry looks the same. Wildflowers are definitely recovering. You can see it's healthier from last week. Lots of lacy phacelia and some other plants. I can see some California poppy. The plain coriopsis is going to seed now. I think maybe in the next few weeks they might die back. Some catnips and clovers. Blueberry, another week, ready for another harvest. And here's some new leaves, so that's good. Lily of the Valley, it's dying back. Mulberry looks pretty much the same, just keep growing taller. Oh, and the dahlia has fallen over. I think it's a little windy yesterday, and I haven't watered it for a while. I think that's why. English ivy looks pretty much the same. Rosemary looks good. Asparagus, the new growth is getting bigger now. Got plenty of sunlight. Succulents are looking good. You can see these guys are growing nicely, and these guys are flowering. California poppy is coming back again. Some artichokes getting bigger. This hydrangea looks good and healthy. It's getting a little too tall for this shelf though, so I might need to move it elsewhere. Artichokes, peony, catnips, rosemary, lavender. Lavender is a lot of flowers. Stone pine and Venus flytrap. Lots of new leaves. That's a good sign. And last one is the grape. Looks pretty much the same. It just keeps on growing. Hopefully the things would hold on to the structure. And as for the indoor garden, the most exciting part, of course, is the lady slipper orchids. You can see this flower has opened, and it's looking very nice. Just gonna show you the other one. It's gonna open maybe in 2 weeks, I think. And yeah, the orchid looks very healthy. The leaves are green and big. This guy sending out some new growth still. Right here, this English ivy is looking pretty healthy actually. You can see that new growth over here. And the spider plant looks good, and this other purple thing looks fine. Orchids. This snake plant, you can see there's 3 new growths. This little one is a new one. This orchid looks pretty much the same. And recently we have an addition to new family, the pineapple. I'll update you on a separate video about it. And I'm trying to root the pineapple. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hasn't rooted yet. I planted it about 5 days ago. So yeah. And this guy, it's doing really well. You can see lots of new leaves. And the spider plants, look at the roots. Super cool. And then here we have the bird nest fern, looking healthy as usual. Staghorn fern, looking good. And this mounted staghorn fern is good. It's dried, so I need to water them. Let's look at the growth. At the base, you can see to the right, it's still sending out new antler leaves, but I don't see any shield leaves, so might need to wait for that. Still getting familiar with the biology of staghorn fern. And the succulents, these little babies are still there, so that's nice. Snake plant, this guy is doing very well. And you can see some other random succulents growing. Well, not random, it's from the guy to the right, which is this guy. And this little fern, I think it's doing pretty well. It's sending lots of new leaves from the base. The ficus tree, it's doing well. You can see some new leaves coming up. Here, the pear plant, I think it's still flowering. You can see some flower spike thing coming out from this new growth. Don't see any new growth though. And yeah, plants is getting very big. Hoya plant, it's looking good. And right here we have this new growth from this stem. You can see these 2 leaves are new leaves. There's this small and another bigger leaves. Overall, the plant is sending out a lot of new leaves. It's healthy, and the spider plant is going crazy with the flowers and new baby plants. You can see that's another flower spike right here. So this is like the second new flower spike. It's gonna flower more. And there's another flower spike coming out right here. And you can look at just the plant. It's going crazy with all the new leaves. It's looking really nice. Phalaenopsis. This leaf is dead. And the roots is growing nicely. I send that root back down to the base. Hopefully it will attach to the mounting media. But yeah, I don't think there's nothing there's nothing too special about it. And the philodendron is looking good. You can see the vines are getting longer now. And this snake plant is really growing a lot. You can see it has deformed the plastic container. There's just so many new growths. I think we might need to repot this sometime. And then this zebra succulent plant thing, you can see the flower is coming up. It's gonna flower pretty soon. Right here is the second mounted Stockholm fern. New leaf is coming up, and it's pretty dried, so I'm gonna need to water that as well. And here we have another prayer plant. It looks good. And the dragon tree plants, you can see this guy is getting taller. Lots of new growth at the center, as well as this guy. They both look very healthy.